Charizard is the most overrated Pokemon ever. And Lucario and Greninja aren't as great as you think either. Those are just a couple of my potentially controversial opinions. They're only going to get crazier and more controversial, so you might as well stay here until the end of the video where I unveil my craziest idea yet. Let's start with some honorable mentions, which, if you've seen some of my other videos, you may already know, but I'll say X and Y are the worst games in this series, and Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the best. I don't think that's that controversial, but according to your comments, maybe I'm wrong there. And if you want to know why I think this, check out these two videos right here. Now let's get into the new stuff. I think that legendaries should be so much stronger and harder to catch, and I think they should be harder to find as well. Obviously, you don't want them to be impossible for the average person to find, like the Regis in Gen 3, even though puzzles like that would be fun, but maybe just add a bit more direction. Because on the flip side, in Gen 8, I think the Regis were too easy to find. Now, I love a challenge, but something that doesn't require something too absurd, like, using Dig and then walking the perimeter of the cave. And they're way too easy to catch. Now, I understand that people don't want to keep resetting to catch a legendary, blah, blah, blah. But I believe, in my recent memory, I've caught legendaries with a quick ball first turn, a premier ball, and a dive ball when it wasn't even a water type. That shouldn't even happen, ever. Well, maybe like a very small percentage, but really, never. I should have to whittle down to exactly 1 HP, have it be paralyzed, and then use a plethora of different Pokeballs to catch it. And, these things are legendaries. It's in their name. I shouldn't be able to pull up with just any team and come out with the legendary and, a Pokeball. These things should be high level and should one-shot most, if not all, of your team. Like, maybe there's a 1 in, 100,000 chance that you catch it with the Pokeball at full health, but make it tougher, please, or at least let the option be there. Like, how you can choose either switch or set mode when battling. Let there be an easy and hard catching mode. I think that would be kind of interesting. But now, let's get away from the video games, and let's go to the TCG. I think that the competitive TCG scene is fun, but boring. And if that doesn't make sense or doesn't resonate with you, I'll explain. I've recently gotten into the TCG, mainly to justify all the money I spent on cards, and I've been having a blast, honestly. However, it is frustrating going up against the same decks over and over and over again. And now, I understand that that's just what metas are, but at least in video games, you have a chance to outplay other people with your skill. In the TCG, there are kind of limited options of what you can really do to counteract any good deck, besides building a deck to counter it. And don't even get me started on the decks that just stall you. Snorlax. And this isn't the biggest deal to me. It might not even be that controversial, but I just think there should be more options that you can have to counteract everything. I don't know. I'm new to it, so maybe I just need to get better, which is probably all it is. But for now, I'm going to blame the game and not me. Moving on to more controversy, where I have probably stronger opinions, is that Cyndaquil is the best starter. Not even close. Not only is he incredibly adorable with some super sick evolutions, yes, I prefer Quilava, but he's actually one of the best starter Pokemon for the game that they're in. For example, he beats 3 gym leaders in Bugsy, Jasmine, and Price, and if you teach him Thunder Punch and Earthquake when he evolves, he can take out the first 2 Elite Four by himself, and if you throw Dynamic Punch on him too, well, Karen's Dark types don't really stand a chance either. That makes him one tough son of a badger. He is the best, no question. If you disagree, too bad, you're wrong. I will not accept any criticism on this point. Moving right along, I really, really want one big mega region. Well, I guess not one region, but a game with all the regions in it. And as shown in Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, Game Freak is alright with flying to islands with different Pokemon and characters and stories. So why not make a new region where once you become the champion, you crave domination? You go to every other region, start anew with different Pokemon, not being able to access your other mons. You go through, beat the 8 new gyms, take the crown in that region too, and you rinse and repeat for every single generation. But you want the fights to be, difficult the whole time. Maybe incorporate a level cap of some kind, or again, the possibility to do that yourself by, turning it on or off in the settings. Make it so once you actually become champion, you can get challenged by other people, like how normal champions do. and just like what they do in Sun and Moon as well. But if you get challenged, make it so you can use any of your Pokemon that you beat any league with instead of just the one in that region. Now, I understand that everyone doesn't like battling, and I get it. Don't judge me yet. I think it'd be cool if instead of the gym challenge, maybe you could be a researcher, where your objective is to catch every single Pokemon, and maybe like how Pokemon Legends Arceus did it, have you complete tasks to learn more about each one. I don't know. I just think it's a crazy out there idea, and it seems pretty cool to me. Okay, this next one might upset the Gen 1ers that are watching, but Pokemon designs and names have actually gotten better throughout the years. I've played just about every Pokemon game out there, and the most fun part to me is waiting to see all the new Pokemon. Obviously, not every design is a banger, but if you really think about it, Gen 6 and on have some great mons. And just so you know, I split the gens up here based on the console. 3DS and later are what I dub newer gens. Now, I feel like I personally have complained a lot about newer Pokemon, but in retrospect, a lot of my favorites are actually from newer games, and it never really clicked until recently. For instance, Toxtricity, Skiddo, Phantom, Ice-Cube, Obstagoon, Tinkaton, King Gambit. These are all banger mons, and I love them all. And yes, if you couldn't tell, I either like badass fully evolved mons or just the cute little guys. Now, I'm not saying all older gen designs are bad either, as Quilava, Arcanine, Electivire, Heracross, and Gliscor also rank very high for me. But I think it's silly to say that all newer gen designs just suck, because they really don't. I mean, yes, some of them miss, like Bruxish or Enamorus, Crabominable, and I don't like Oinkologne. But like, looking back, just think about it. You have Muck, who is just a pile of sludge. You have Huntail, who's ugly. Phione, I don't even know what that thing is. And Girder. Oh god, Girder. That thing's weird as hell. And everyone loves to complain about the ice cream cone and the trash bag. I get it. Not super original, but whatever. You know, you have to have bad designs in order to appreciate the good ones. Or else nothing would really be good, right? Moving on. Let's get a little spicier now. I think that the worst starter trio is Gen 5 by a pretty good margin. When I first played Black and White, I chose Snivy and didn't really make a connection with the line. Never really had the desire to choose Tepig, and Oshawott now, I'll be honest, is making me reconsider my choice. He's pretty dang cute, but I've not used him in a playthrough at all, and I really don't think that justifies them jumping over any other trio. Now let's take a look at all the other trios and see why I think this. Let's start with the OG 3, Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. There's not really a bad choice here, regardless of how overrated some of them could be. Let's move to Gen 2, where, yes, Chikorita is the worst starter ever, but it's with Cyndaquil and Totodile, and it really saves Gen 2 as a whole. Obviously, I already talked about Cyndaquil, so you know how I feel, and he alone could carry any generation by himself. Gen 3 are all pretty decent. I think Blaziken's a bit overrated, but overall, still not too shabby here. I love all the Gen 4 starters, except Piplup, because when I watched the anime as a kid, it always seemed really, really annoying to me. And that's also the reason Oshawott didn't push Gen 5 higher. I did not like him at all in the anime. I don't even remember it that well. I just remember hating Oshawott so much. And it's just stuck with me this whole time. And it's unfortunate because I love otters, and Oshawott's so cute, but it's just not enough for me. Gen 6 is okay. I like Chesnaught quite a lot. Not as evolutions as much, though. Fennekin is fine, and Froakie is Froakie. Again, overrated due to Greninja, but at least this time I get it. Ninjas are cool. Gen 7 is really saved by Rowlet. I don't like Popplio, and pretty indifferent to Litten. If Rowlet isn't there, Gen 7 is probably the worst one for me. Gen 8, I absolutely love Grookey, and although I never chose Scorbunny, I think it's pretty awesome. But then again, I played the drums in soccer growing up, so I think that's why that makes sense. And Sobble's there too. And then Gen 9. Not a huge fan of Quaxly, but I don't despise him. And then Fuecoco and Sprick really carry here. Both are cute and turn into some pretty cool mons. So long story short, for me, there's nothing that really stands out about the Gen 5 starters. Snivy's fine, I guess. Tepig is meh. Both don't get any help from their evolutions. Oshawott is cute and Samurot's pretty cool, but I genuinely cannot get over how the anime made me feel about him. So for now, these are the worst starters. Or rather, starter trio, because Chikorita does exist. Okay, last one. Maybe, definitely controversial here. I think Mega Evolution almost ruined Pokemon as a whole, and I know how that sounds. Jackson, what are you talking about? Megas are awesome. It's definitely the best gimmick. And I agree. It is the best gimmick, and actually a really cool thing they added. However, it set a precedent to continue to add different gimmicks. Gen 7 had Z-moves, Gen 8 had Dynamaxing, now Gen 9 has Terras. Now, I don't think these are necessarily bad, except Z-moves, but I just don't want every future game to have something like this. Just let me enjoy my normal Pokemon, or at least make it so the gimmick isn't tethered to one game. Like how you can only Terrasilize in Paldea because of the Terrestrial energy seeping from the ground, or whatever. And yeah, I realize Megas were in Sun and Moon, and ORAS. Wait, maybe Z-moves were the issue. Whatever. Point still stands. I don't want a gimmick in every single game going forward. I just want to enjoy Pokemon for what they are. Were those spicy enough for you? Were they not controversial enough? Regardless, please hit the like and subscribe button. It means a lot to me and it's free, so why not, right? That's the least controversial thing I said all video. But that's all I have for you right now, so until next time, have a great one.